Morning, Alex. So today I thought I'd just talk about what Black Butte was actually like, since I can't show anything about it yet, and that way I can just be even more annoying talking about it when I can't show you anything. Okay, so Black Butte Mine, what a lot of people think about when they think about Superfund sites is like barrels of petrochemicals just like leaking into water supplies and just like dead fish floating everywhere. I mean, when people think Superfund, they think of just like disgusting scum and grossness. And Black Butte Mine was nothing like that. To be quite honest, Black Butte Mine was kind of scenic and pretty. Like, I could totally foresee somebody going out there and just having a picnic. Although I wouldn't recommend it because there's mercury, like, everywhere. It doesn't change the fact that Black Butte Mine is based in a forest. I mean, miners who worked at Black Butte Mine called it a miner's paradise because most mines that they had previously worked at were in like the middle of nowhere. We're talking in the middle of a desert. I mean, have you seen pictures of the uranium mines in like the Colorado, New Mexico area? I don't even know how people live out there. But Black Butte Mine was, I mean, we're talking green forests, there's rivers and streams. They talked about like deer cropping the grass at the base of the refineries, which is probably not very good for those deer, but it looks really nice. It's basically what we saw when we went out there. I mean, it was a beautiful forest. And yes, there was some miscellaneous things left over from the mine. The new sort of refinery was still there. Now, I should point out that inside of that refinery were just mine tailings that were left there, and that all of the huge mine tailing piles throughout the area are just covered with sage bushes. Like, as far as you can see, it's just giant piles of sage. And, I mean, these piles are, like, huge. This was no small feat. I mean, they're taking huge amounts of ore out of the earth just to get relatively small amounts of mercury. It was still a very profitable business because for all intents and purposes, like this was an easy pickings sort of mine. For instance, the paths that we were walking, I mean, there is a sheer drop down the one side. And so the reason that's really nice for them is that anytime they want to get to lower or higher ore yields, all they have to do is dig straight into the mine, and then they can cart that out straight, as opposed to having to have some kind of lifting mechanism to raise it from a lower level to a higher level. It just take it straight out of the side. But it was really pretty. Like, I totally could see somebody putting a trail there or putting a couple of disc golf baskets there. I mean, once it's cleaned up, it'll be a nice, beautiful piece of forested property. And yes, there's some miscellaneous things that just exist in the forest out there. Like, when we were there, the people who were working at the mine had just been informed that there was a gigantic water tank that nobody had known about. All the people had been working on this mine for years, and nobody knew that this water tank was out there because it is a huge piece of property. And there's just stuff everywhere. Now, the mine itself was really strange. Like, we went and actually saw one of the mine shafts that people would go in and mine, which had a warning extreme danger sign on the outside, just so you know that it's extremely dangerous. But the fact of the matter is, nobody was going to be going into that mine anyway, because that thing was a swimming pool. There was several feet of water to where I think there was more water than there was, like, air. For that matter, the water was this strange blue. Like, it was kind of like a smoky kind of sky bluish shade. I've never seen water that color, and it was kind of unsettling. I don't know what was causing the water to be that color, but it was eerie and yet beautiful and kind of terrifying because you could hear almost rain coming down inside of the mine, and outside of the mine, just on the doorway, there you could see droplets falling, and then all that water was kind of creating a little pool outside the mine, which was running its way down the mine. But of course, it doesn't seem that dangerous if you're just wandering by. I mean, we're talking, it's a very scenic place. You can see all the little creeks with waterfalls. You can't really see the mercury, which is why it has been allowed to continue for all of these years without anybody really thinking about it. So anyways, all in all, Black Butte Mine was very scenic. It was like if you just went out for a hike down a relatively unused trail, or even just go on a logging road somewhere. That is exactly what Black Butte Mine was like. I mean, you can just if you walk down the railroad tracks of any small town, sometimes you'll see the remaining rusting wreckage of some industry of yesterday. So Alex, on that really poor sort of explanation of what it was like, I will leave you and I will see you tomorrow.